Welcome back everyone to Mudstomp Solves. Tonight, got a bit of a blustery night. I've got my hot cup of tea and I thought I'd try and get another building block video done and see how we go. I've already built these two birds, so I'm going to show them off at the end of the video, but I'm up to the last one in the set, so there's 3 of them. Once as always, these are mini blocks and I've gotten them from Kmart in Australia. So this Anko brand is the Kmart brand of stuff. And yeah, I have started picking up these little sets just for something to do, something of interest, and to just demonstrate what they're like and check them out and things like that. So yeah, let's get this out and get it set up and we'll get into it and we'll see where we end up with all 3 of these birds eventually. My apologies if you miss a bit there. These bags are loud. Alright, let's see how that goes. It's sort of could quite possibly be a bit of a longer video because as much as it's only a few steps and it's only 400 pieces, getting them all together, on the other hand, can be a bit of a difficulty. So we're just going to see what happens and work our way through it. Like I said, I have my tea ready to go, so I know I'm able to have a good sip, keep my voice going, which has been a bit of a problem lately in some videos. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a recent flu or something affecting me. If you didn't notice, recently I had a bit of a break from uploading videos. I was getting 1 a week, and there was about 4 weeks there where I didn't really get a video up much, unfortunately. It was just too hard to find time and energy to film between sickness of my own, catching up with work, and sickness of my children and my partner. So yeah. But that's okay, we're getting back on the horse now. As you may have noticed, I've recently started doing Sudokus from the New York Times as part of my video routine of a day. That's basically come about because recently I got the New York Times game app, if you will, on my phone. I basically wanted to just have the capability to do more of their little games, word games and whatnot. And not that I'm not a Sudoku fan, I've done Sudokus for a while, but to be honest, I was struggling quite a bit every time I tried to do one of theirs, so I was kind of, I wasn't really approaching it as a video idea, I guess I'd say. And I ended up, I don't know, once I had the app, I just decided to try a few, I suppose, and got my head around doing the easy ones pretty quickly, and so I decided to start filming a couple of them, and then decided to try the mediums as well. So it kind of got there eventually, but it was just there was a bit of a process to get me into it basically. So yeah, anyway, let me just wedge in a bit here while I try and get this sorted. So the biggest problem I have with these, 1, 2, 3, 4, is just trying to get them started. These 2 plates that they get you to start with at the start, they're fine once they're sorted, but getting them sorted can be really frustrating to try and get everything to line up and then connect appropriately, that kind of thing. I'm just having a look. So there's 2 of these at the front, and the second dot is going to go through the front of there, is the idea. So if I get this lined up nicely, I should be able to push it on. There's that one, and then 1 more. So yeah, there we go, and 1 more after that. So yeah, once you get sort of started, it's not too bad, but it's just like I said, trying to get that first couple in. Then we have a 3 and then a 4 by the looks. So the 3 is going to go next to that. 1 more. And then we have the 4 behind it. Hopefully you can see enough detail on this. I understand that sometimes these videos aren't the greatest. I do try to zoom in post-production and stuff, but well, let's face it, doesn't always work out the best. This is also why I try and build in one spot so you know where you're looking and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm just trying to see, so what have we got there? So then that needs to be, one of those is going to be right on the corner. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so that's there, and this is on this side. And then we have a full piece behind it. Yep. So yeah, as I was saying, I then got into the medium Sudokus after that, basically, and yeah, that was a bit of fun getting into that. I've got my times down. I think at the time of producing this, I've done about 10 of the medium Sudokus on camera. And I have a feeling there's something missing there. Why is that 1 and that's 2? Did I miscount them maybe? I think I grabbed 10 of these. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those on the bottom. There we go. Yeah, let me just finish this layer so it's a little bit easier to concentrate. Just figuring out where everything goes, a bit of a nightmare sometimes, as I said. I am enjoying these block puzzles though. My next video after this will be a set of crystal builds, which I thought I would never approach again, but when I found these cheap ones in Kmart, I thought I'd give them a go, and I've done a couple of them to get ready for the video, like with this, and I must say I'm a bit impressed with them, so I'm looking forward to trying the final one, which looks to be a bit more complex, but yeah, it'll be good to get into. Alright, so that's the back end of that. Alright. Excuse me. So, as I was saying, getting into the medium Sudokus has been fun, and I've gotten down to about, I don't know, I suppose I probably average around 15 to 18 minutes depending to solve one of them. My aim is to get down under 14 at least once. But yeah, for the most part, I am enjoying them, and it's a nice thing to have an extra video for the day. So obviously I do my Caesar's calendar for a daily short, and I do now the easy and the medium New York Times Sudokus, which the Caesar's calendar comes out right at the start of the day because they're easy to do and that. And the Sudokus, so by Australian time, I usually have to wait until about 10 AM for them to be available, and then I need to spend time actually doing them and so forth, and that's usually later in the day is when I get to that. So it's usually sort of, well, later in the day, evening really. So typically it's sort of yeah, mid to late evening when I'll get them finished and then uploaded. However, that's not necessarily the worst scenario. I imagine for viewers that aren't in Australia, the time that they get uploaded is actually, I think, mostly sort of more towards morning time for like Americans and stuff. Although Americans would be sort of the later part of the world cycle, as it were, on the clock. But yeah. So anyway, it means I get them done relatively early for the most point of a viewer, I think, which is nice. Or at least I think it is. As a viewer myself for other channels, I like it when they come in early enough that I can sort of watch them whenever I want. So I hope that for those of you who are watching some of those, you enjoy it. That being said, I'm also looking to try and do that's 2 steps done, so that's good. I'm looking to try and do a, what do you call it? A hard Sudoku at some point. My hope is to do a full video on that and explain as I go along, basically. I think for the most part, that'll be sort of somewhat useful, rewarding, particularly too for people who don't know how to do them. Excuse me, voice going a bit. Because I hope to fully explain my steps and so forth quite calmly in that. When I'm doing the easy Sudokus, I kind of just rush through it because you can sort of just pinpoint most letters and most numbers and stuff. When I'm doing sort of a medium one, I do explain a little bit as I go along, sort of highlight where things point and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's kind of it's in a bit of a rush. So if you were trying to learn what I'm doing, it's probably not the easiest thing to learn off of. But yeah, like I said, I hope to do a bigger solve soon enough for you to observe. So yeah, just trying to find these 2x1s. The smaller pieces, unfortunately, in these are really, really tough sometimes to do. So yeah. Alright, where are we? So we need 2 of these connected by one of those. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3 out there. Alrighty, so this is how you get the tail going. I say that with confidence because they have, well, having done 2 already, they're very sort of repetitive in their structuring and stuff. So I feel very comfortable with the shape of the bird, I guess is how I would put it. But yeah, they're not super complex builds, to be honest. In fact, it's quite interesting seeing the sort of level of intricacy that it demonstrates and how it sort of goes together. I really kind of appreciate the sort of overlapping nature of the blocks in that, you know, they change the overlap so that they line up in particular ways, and what I would imagine overlap so that there's more strength in the connection, so you don't have a fault line running through and whatnot. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that variation and how it sort of develops over many layers, essentially. I would love to try and build some of my own at some point. I don't know if I'll get to it. I think my hope is to sort of have a go at it one day when I've got a lot of blocks left over from doing a number of these builds and other builds and that. So yeah, hopefully that'll be easy enough. But anyway, alright, I'm gonna probably do a little bit of a time lapse here for a few more layers because we've about 10 minutes or so in and I don't want this video being absolutely ginormous. So yeah, bear with me and hopefully you can enjoy some music while I time lapse through a few layers and see how we go. And I'll catch you on the other side. Alrighty, well we're down to the final steps now, and it's looking pretty decent. I do find that it's become a nice shape, I'll put it that way. But anyway, let's get into getting this last couple of steps done, and hopefully won't take too long and won't be too difficult. These single pieces, I find, the 1x1s and the round ones and stuff, can be a little bit stressful to hold on to and get positioned well, but that's okay. So I'm just following along. The wings I found I like how they're built in the sense of how they connect to the birds, but overall they're a bit of a pain to make, just because the pieces all sort of float around a bit, that kind of thing, and because you're on a single sort of line, you know, it's not like a 2x4 or anything, it's a 1x3, 1x4, those sorts of things. It's a little bit painful just trying to get them pushed together and lined up. So that's that bit, the top. Let's get this bottom bit done. So they go under here. I find this is the one piece that doesn't, you've got to line up yourself. The long bits don't have specific spots to connect into, so there is that, but that's okay. You can usually figure it out, but, or, you know, you can line them up yourself. It's not a big deal, but it is kind of, I find it a curiosity, I'll put it that way. I'm just trying to get these done nice and quickly, but yeah. So, bit of reflection while I finish this off. Largely speaking, all three birds have been done fairly similarly. There's a little bit of difference in, I think, a slight bit of difference maybe in their shapes. Maybe not. No, I think their shapes are the same actually. But obviously the colours are different. I do appreciate, once again, the mini block structuring is really nice, and to be perfectly frank, the way it hollows out an area for the bird as a body and then as a head and then covers them up in these mini block builds, it's really neat the way that happens, I think. And from that perspective, I really appreciate sort of what happens and how it happens and all of that. I also like the intricacies in how it forms the patterns. So like, for instance, on the wings here, just to create the basic pattern and that. And again, these wings attaching is just, I think it's a really cool, neat way they do it, basically. I wasn't anticipating it at all. I think I even thought initially that they probably wouldn't be moving wings, they'd just be part of the build. But you can move them, so that's really cool, which I'll show in a minute. But let's just get these last bits on. These are the feet. Now, finding out where to put these, on the other hand, the feet have been really sort of interesting to line up, I find. But again, this is again another indicator of just the minute detail that these builds go into is just beautiful. And I think that I made these specifically, I bought them just as a set to do, but I've particularly done them at the moment because my second youngest son, yeah, he's been obsessed with them, looking at them, and he wants to play with one. And I'm like, okay, let me get them finished and then you can have a play. So let me just line these up so you can see them in shot. So yeah, you can see that the wings move out, so it's really kind of neat and interesting how they all sort of position and whatnot. And yeah, I think it's just a really nice sort of build, to be honest. They're nice little intricate things. They feel quite solid, apart from the wings. The wings are a little bit flimsy, so I don't move them too much, but everything else, you would have to knock it pretty bad for it to sort of fall apart, that kind of thing. So yeah, they're really kind of nice little builds in that way. And I've really enjoyed doing them. They're about probably an hour each or something for sort of around 420, 430 pieces each. So that's actually an interesting thing. They have different piece numbers, which for the life of me, like having a look at them, I can't tell where there would be a difference. So that's a bit strange. It's probably because of the patterning, just different colored pieces and patterning them, because the green has all green, no other colors on the back, and then you've got slight bits at the very back. There's a difference on the tails. So it's probably that. Which of those pieces is, you know, a 2x1 or things like that. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I would honestly recommend these mini block builds from Kmart, the Anko series of mini blocks, just as a fun thing to build and to put on your shelf. It's such a small thing, and you can just line up a whole bunch of them on your shelf and have cool little figurines and that, and you've spent a few hours making them and things. So yeah, highly recommend them as a mini block build, and a very cheap mini block build. And in particular, again, these ones, so from all three, these are all the leftover pieces. You can sort of see the colorings. So combine this with a bunch of the other mini block builds that I've done. I've got a lot of pieces to play with, where I'm going to try eventually, I don't know when, soon, to make something myself. But I've got another series that I'm going to be doing, so another video very shortly. This is one of the first sort of packs I bought but never got around to building. My daughter really wanted this mermaid, so I'm going to build these next. Probably in a couple of videos time you'll see them. And yeah, that'll be another thing to check out. Upcoming on the channel, I've got the multiple crystal builds I'm going to show off, and there's a couple more pen and paper type puzzles I want to do. This is the crystal builds, so I'm going to do one of them and show off the other three, obviously. They're only a few pieces, like 50 pieces each, but they're fun. I'm enjoying a couple of them so far, so I'll show you those off when they're done. But yeah, a lot of pen and paper puzzles coming up, a couple of cardboard puzzles I want to get onto as well, particularly one for my wife. We had a Great Gatsby puzzle we bought that she really liked the look of, so I want to get that done for her. Things like that. So yeah, if you're enjoying it, stay tuned. A lot of different stuff going on the channel these days, just to try and, yeah, enjoy myself really. So I hope you're enjoying it too, and thank you very much for watching and all you do to support me. You know what to do if you want to do more supports: likes, subscribes, comments, things like that. And yeah, otherwise I look forward to seeing you in the next video, hopefully getting them out one a week. These main videos one a week. Obviously I'm doing easy and medium Sudokus every day. I do the Caesar's calendar every day for a short, and I mix it in with some other odds and ends here and there, but these are the main videos that come out every weekend. So that's the plan for the near future of the channel. Just a lot of variety and a lot of videos. So again, hope you're enjoying it, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'd stomp out.